Hello and welcome to week 4 of our MAT081 course for summer 2022. Week 4, you know what that means. We are at the halfway point of our course. This is an 8-week course, so week 4 we would be halfway. Time flies when you're having fun in math. I hope you appreciate this little image right here. But it's been a pleasure to spend these first 4 weeks with you, and I'm looking forward to the remaining 4 weeks. All right, so let's now take a look at what we have coming up this week in Math 081. So as you know, every week you should be returning to the weekly modules. You definitely want to look through the week 4 overview so you can get an idea of everything that is going to happen this week. So let's briefly go through your assignments. So by Wednesday, you want to reply to the homework strategies discussion board that was due Sunday night. And then by Wednesday, you need to go back in and reply to one of your classmates. Hopefully by reading their posts, you're going to learn about some more homework strategies, maybe some that you didn't even think of. But then you can also build upon and expand upon what your classmates are saying, and then you guys can generate a nice discussion so you can get the best out of your homework experiences and make the most out of your written work for your homework and use them as resources as you're studying for the upcoming exam. So then make sure you're replying to one of your student or one of your classmates by Wednesday night. Wednesday morning at 10 a.m., I have scheduled our Let's Meet session. The reason why I decided to choose this day and time was because I wanted to definitely do something before the first exam was due. So as you know, exam 1 is going to be due by the end of the day on June 22nd. So I thought having a Let's Meet session in the morning would be a great time for you to ask any last minute questions you might have about the content that is on the exam or about the procedure for taking the exam. So that way you just get one chance to speak to me face to face if there's any questions you have before you take that first exam. Okay, by Sunday night, the 26th, you're going to want to complete your assignments and more for units 7 and 8. When you work on units 7 and 8, one of the big concepts is going to be solving percent application problems. When you're watching the media lessons and more, you'll notice that there's a certain method that is being described in your notes as you're taking notes on the videos. But I also like to provide alternative methods whenever possible, especially when I think that an alternative method can be very useful. So if you view this content page on solving percent application problems, I'm giving you an alternative method. It's the A equals PB formula, which stands for amount equals percent times the base. So this is an alternative way for you to solve your percent application problems, and I've recorded a couple videos to show you how to put this method in action. So after you watch the media lessons and more for unit 7 and 8, I highly recommend you come and watch these alternative methods, and then you can use a combination of all the methods, or you can pick the method that works the best for you when you're solving application problems. So the method is the A equals PB formula. I'm a big peanut butter fan, PB, so that's how I remember A equals PB. But obviously you can use whatever method works for you or whatever trick works for you to help you remember how to use this formula. But I definitely recommend you watching these extra videos that I've posted because you might find it a refreshing way to have an alternative method for solving the percent problems. Okay, next Sunday night, also on the 26th, you have another discussion board due, and the topic is how to study for an exam. So this is very fitting because you do have an exam due this week as well. If possible, you might want to complete this discussion board before you take the exam. I know the discussion board is not due till Sunday night, but if you got it done ahead of time, you might learn about some really neat strategies that you can implement as you're studying for the exam that's due Wednesday night. So definitely make sure you go into that discussion board, watch the video. It's full of important tips and useful tips for preparing yourself for an upcoming exam. Okay, and then we have another extend your learning this week. You can see it's called mixing drinks. Doesn't that sound exciting? But remember, before every extend your learning assignment in the weekly modules, I always have you preview a content page, and that content page will help you dig deeper into that particular concept. So remember, the extend your learning assignments, they do just that. They extend your learning on a certain concept. So the idea is to dive deeper and really tap into your critical thinking and thinking a lot more deeply about a certain concept. So In this Extend Your Learning assignment, we're thinking about proportional reasoning, and we're diving deeper into what proportional reasoning is and how we use it. So you can see as you go through the content page, I have some examples. And then I have another example that is directly aligned with that Extend Your Learning assignment. So the Extend Your Learning assignment was called Mixing Drinks. So I'm sure at some point in our life, we've all made a picture of lemonade, or maybe a picture of an adult drink, maybe a little sangria or a little margarita. I'm not sure what your preference is, but regardless, you always want your drink to taste the best. And when you're mixing drinks, you have to get that perfect ratio of maybe sweetness to saltiness, or sugar or sour, or whatever it is. You want that perfect blend. And we've all made something before in a pitcher, I'm sure, and we've tasted it and we've said, "Ooh, that's way too sweet," or "Ooh, that's way too sour." So we compensate by adding more of another ingredient. Well, whether you knew it or not, that's proportional reasoning in action, to get that perfect ratio so you have that perfect taste in your mouth when you're taking your drink. Again, whether it's your lemonade or whether it's something a little more on the adult side, whatever it is, you definitely want to make sure it tastes as good as possible. And that is proportional reasoning right there. So this assignment will dive a little deeper into how to create that perfect ratio. And then after you go through the content page, at the bottom, you'll see I do have one video for you that, will help you dig into that concept a little deeper. And then, and only then, after you've gone through the content page, you're ready to print out the mixing drinks assignment and completing it. Okay, so let's go back to our module and see what else is due this coming week. That is about it. Yep. So after you do your Extend Your Learning mixing drinks, then you have completed everything, and that will take you to Sunday night. Now, let's also look, though, right below the week 4 module, you see there's a module dedicated just for exam 1. So make sure you also visit this module and you read the page called Let's Get Ready for Exam 1. This will give you all the information you need for exam 1 as you prepare to take your exam that's going to be due Wednesday night. So it covers units 1 through 6. And there's 2 review assignments and more, and you can complete these review assignments as many times as you need to. So there's 1 review assignment for units 1 through 3. That's what we learned at the beginning of the course. And then most recently, we learned units 4 through 6. So all of those units will be on the exam. They will be covered in the exam. So you can do these review assignments as many times as you want to practice for the exam. So I definitely encourage you to take some time, put some time in your schedule this week to work on those review assignments. And then here's the guidelines. You have 1 attempt at the exam. You have a total of 2 hours and 30 minutes. Some students might utilize all 2 hours and 30 minutes. Some students might be able to complete it in less time than that. But remember what we learned in a recent discussion board: speed is not the most important thing in mathematics. So it's not a race. You're not trying to complete it as quickly as possible. You do have a large chunk, 2 hours and 30 minutes, to utilize to take the exam. Now, that being said, make sure in your schedule for this week, you plan out an uninterrupted block of time, and I would give yourself the full 2 hours, 30 minutes. If you don't use the whole time, well, then that's fine. You just get some extra time that you didn't know you were going to have in your schedule, to do something else, but don't plan on getting done earlier than 2 hours and 30 minutes. You want to give yourself enough of a window to use all those minutes if you need to. You have to do the exam in 1 session. So you can't start the exam, complete a few questions, and then stop and then go run an errand or go eat dinner and then come back and finish it later. It has to be done in 1 session. So make sure you have a space in your house or at the library or wherever you're working, and you have that uninterrupted block of time where you're not also trying to complete other tasks. So you want to be completely focused on the exam and give yourself a full 2 hours and 30 minutes. You will be in Respondus Lockdown browser, so make sure your camera settings are adhering to the guidelines that we learned about in the practice exam. And make sure you're showing all your work on a separate sheet of paper that you will upload when you're done taking your exam. If you have more questions on exactly how to show your work, you can definitely view the page expressing your mathematical work for all of those guidelines. The calculator is not permitted for this exam, so you will not be able to have a calculator on your workspace, and there are 40 questions. The first 30 questions are multiple choice, and the last 10 are open-ended. And for those last 10 questions, that's when you're going to be using the Canvas equation editor to enter your mathematical notation for your answers. Okay, that is it. I hope to see you all. That would be wonderful if I could see as many of you as possible at the Let's Meet session on Wednesday morning. And as promised, there is a key phrase for you to send me a message and let me know that you learned the key phrase to get your extra 2 bonus points. So the key phrase for this week is amount equals percent times base. And if you're wondering where I'm getting that key phrase from, remember that was the alternative method in week 4 for solving percentage problems. So the A equals PB formula, what I want you to tell me is what that stands for, and that stands for amount equals percent times base. And that will be your key phrase for your 2 bonus points. Have a wonderful week. Please reach out to me if you have any questions.